like candy in the summer. Don't act like a bummer. Gotta move it through the nighttime.
Hello guys, so if you're watching this video, I can tell something immediately, that you are a complete champion. Now why do I say that? Because we are 7 months into the Going Virtual program, and it has been a huge stretch for many of you. In fact, I'd probably say for all of you. This has been a massive transition, but it's been a rewarding one. I was reading an email from one of you this morning just to say thank you for the year. And in fact, I got a number of those emails and I want to thank you for them. And this lady was saying how much this program has changed her way of thinking. It's changed her understanding of real estate. It has changed how she runs her business, and she is seeing the benefits. And I know many of you have seen the benefits of doing what we've been saying. And yet I do know how difficult it is. And I also understand that for most of you, you're sitting there thinking, you know, I wish I was further down the track. I feel guilty that I haven't done all my homework, or I'm so far behind and I just haven't kept up. I understand if that's how you feel, but I don't want you feeling that way. The whole point of this program was and is to create a curriculum that if you do finish the 12 months out and you pay for the full 12 months, you will have access to this curriculum for the rest of your life. And you can always go back, and in fact, that's one of the things that I'm going to encourage you to do in this Christmas New Year season, is to just go back and review a little bit. So that's how I want you using this time. But I want to say that you're a complete champion for watching this video. If you're still with me and you're still tracking, even if you feel bad, you feel guilty, if you're still with me, if you're still on the journey together, that's all that counts, and I am extremely pleased that you are. So what I want to do in this little video is I want to give you just a few things to focus on that will see you close out 2020 well, but then also position you well to go into the new year with some momentum. This is a time which is different for all of us. Some of us are winding down for the year. It has been a hard and stressful year for all of us because of Corona. And I think we do need to rest. So even if you are busy, and this is the kind of time of year when you do get very busy, I still want to encourage you, get some time out and rest and spend time with loved ones and family if you can, and just recuperate a bit. It's been a stressful year. You know, even if Corona hasn't impacted your business, we've had many people around us who have either been impacted because of their health, but also many people who've been impacted socially and financially, and it has been stressful. So just find some time to rest. And while you're doing that, why not review what we've been through over the last 7 months together as a group, and just remind yourself of some of the journey. I think it is very powerful to have a look at the curriculum of what we've done over the 13 webinars that we've done together. Because when you look through the curriculum, you will see that it's not as overwhelming as you perhaps think. And so we're going to now cut into a video that I'm going to get onto my computer and do with you as we look through the curriculum together. And as we do that, I hope that you get the feeling that, you know, I actually understand the train of thought that Stephen's taken us on, and it's kind of more familiar to me now than it was at the time, which was feeling a little overwhelming. And actually, I can see the train of thought and I can see the little journey, and now I know where I want to review. I want to go back and I want to watch that replay, and I want to watch that replay. And that's what I would love for you to do over this Christmas and New Year season, is just to go and watch some of the replays, or even all of them if you want to, and just retrace our steps together. But before we get there, there is one other little technique, you may call it, that is tremendously effective at this time of year to generate leads for you and set you up for the new year. And that is to connect with your advocates. Now, a reminder, who are your advocates? Those are the 100 people most likely to refer you. And that's what we got you to do at the very beginning of the Going Virtual program, was to organize your database and come out with your 100 advocates. So here's what I want you to do. Use Christmas as a wonderful opportunity to have a really high value relational touch point with your 100 advocates. Now, we're going to break them down into two categories. I reckon for the top 10, you need to go and see them face to face. Prepare a little gift, a little Christmas gift. You can do whatever you want, and attach a handwritten Christmas note. And I don't have to remind you the power of handwritten notes. So have a little gift, a handwritten note attached to it, and go and deliver it by hand. So remember how you do a drop by, you phone beforehand, hey, I'm going to be in your area on Thursday between 7 and 9. I'm not going to be able to stay because I'm on my way to a client. Thought I would just quickly drop in. I've got a little Christmas gift for you. So if they say, well, we're not going to be there, but you can drop it at the door, say, well, I'd love to actually see you when I pop in. When will you be there? Okay, so do drop-bys with the top 10 advocates. Take your gift and just have a little relational touch point and leave the gift with them. What do you do for the other 90? Well, you're not going to be able to do drop-bys to everyone, so I recommend that for the other 90, send them a Christmas card. Okay, a handwritten Christmas card. So this is probably your biggest goal for this Christmas season. And what are we today? It's the 15th. So over the next 2 weeks, 10 days, you've really got to push hard to get your Christmas cards done. You can deliver them by hand. If a lot of the people are in your local area, just drop them into their post box. But if you need to post them, then obviously just plan ahead and have them done a week before Christmas so that you give the post office time to deliver them. But whatever it takes, this is the big goal I want to set you. Send 100 handwritten notes. Send every one of your advocates a note. And for the top 10, hand deliver them face to face with a little gift. Okay, that will set you up tremendously well for the new year because you're once again top of mind, and you can then catch up with a phone call in the new year and say, hey, just wanted to catch up in a new year. If you know anyone thinking of buying or selling, we're looking to get active again in the area. Please send me their details. It's a really natural time of year in the first sort of 2-3 weeks of January to catch up on a phone call and ask for a referral. But that phone call will be a lot easier to make if you've done the handwritten note and there's been that emotional connection now over Christmas. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so in addition to that little goal, now let's jump onto the Going Virtual curriculum. Let's have a look through it together. And as I'm doing this, hopefully things will just spark in your mind and you're going to see, oh, I want to go and watch webinar number 8 again, or I want to go and watch webinar number 3 again. And this is the other thing that I encourage you to do, is go and recap. Just take a step back again and refresh yourself. So let's jump onto that now. So as I've just said to you, I think a really good use of your time over the next month will be to review the replays and to go through the curriculum that we've covered so far. Go and do a bit of catching up. So what I want to do is just go through the curriculum together with you to just familiarize yourself with the journey that we've been on. And as I'm talking through this, you can be thinking to yourself, okay, which one of these videos do I want to go and watch again? Because I want to encourage you to do that. So if you still don't know how to log into the school, you just go to stephenjohnston.com, top right hand corner. If it does not log you in automatically, which it should, there'll be a sign in or login link. You click login, it'll bring you to this page. So I'm going to log in with a test account that I have created for myself. And when you log in, it then takes you to your courses, your My Courses page. So for many of you, this is what you will see, because these are the courses that do get bundled in together with the Going Virtual program. You're going to see the mentorship group. This is where you're going to find all the replays. We're going to go in there in a second. But you will also remember that I gave you my flagship training course on working by referral, which is this middle one, the Successful Real Estate Agent. And in fact, the very first bit of homework that I gave you guys on the program was to go and watch that course. And we had great feedback from many of you from that course, which is wonderful. Then there's a little CRM system that we put together a couple of years ago using an Excel spreadsheet. So if you've got nothing else to use, you can use that one. And then I gave you our 5,000 Rand product of over 5 years worth of PDF value items, and we have covered how you can send those in an email, how you attach it as a PDF using MailChimp, create a little video version. You remember I created an example for that overpriced turkey value item, and that's actually an image of that particular value item there. And you've got access to all of them. But what I want us to do is go into the Going Virtual course. So let's click on that one. And you will see the curriculum. And you can, in fact, click on any of these individually. You don't have to go through them in order. And you can go and watch the replays. So first thing that you should know is that there are two sections here, two main sections. The first one is all the webinar replays. So we've had 13 webinars so far, and we've also done a special webinar with Leandre from PropCon on their CRM system. Then below that, we have a section of how-to videos, and it's actually quite amazing as you look through how many how-to videos I've produced for you over the last 6 or 7 months. And I would encourage you, go and look through these how-to videos and see, oh wow, there's actually a little how-to video there that I didn't know existed on how to overlay one clip above another when editing a video or with whatever it is. So lots of how-to videos as we scroll down. And then there's the replay of the first community group leaders webinar. We actually do need to do another one if you're one of the community group leaders. Okay, so let's just go through the curriculum at the top just to remind you of the journey that we've been on together. The very first webinar that we did was just an introduction, and I gave a strategic overview of the major areas of a virtual real estate business. That's a good webinar to go and look at again if you want to orientate yourself to the big picture of where we're going. And we've traveled a lot of that distance already, in fact, in the subsequent webinars, but there is some stuff that we are yet to do. So you can have a look at the overview of the strategy in that first one. In the second webinar, we looked at the importance of community and community groups. We did have a look at a few other things, shooting videos, etc. But the main focus of that second one was to get you guys into small community groups in your local area. And hopefully you have joined a community group and you guys are still meeting. Then the third webinar, we began looking at your referral system. And we began on that webinar looking at how to organize your database. So that was looking at the very first steps of working by referral, where you build and sort a database of advocates. And I've recommended to you that you get about 100 advocates on your CRM system, and you have a very clear communication strategy that you implement with those 100 very special people, because you can get most of your leads. Research tells us over 80% of your leads can come from just that group of 100 people. So this was the beginning. And after that first discussion about making a biggest list as you can and then sorting it down to your 100 advocates, the next natural step was then to talk about a CRM system, because you now needed to go and capture that list of 100 advocates somewhere on some kind of computer program. And that's why I then did this special webinar with Leandre from PropCon, introducing you to the PropCon system. And I know a lot of you, there were about 200 of you in the end that did actually enroll on the PropCon system, which is fantastic because I think it's a great CRM system. From there, we then looked at the next major step was then to prime those advocates. Once you have made your list, you've sorted it down to your 100 advocates, you've typed them up onto your contact management system. The next step was then to get on the phone and begin calling through those 100 advocates and priming them. And you'll remember the purpose of priming those advocates was to get them aware of you, get them to make a verbal commitment to referring you. And that's what the priming process was all about. So you'll remember the process there was to phone through all 100 advocates, and you said something like this: "Hey Joe, I've recently made a decision to build my business exclusively by referral. And at this point, I'm trying to get clear on who it is who would actually be happy to refer me. And so I wanted to ask you, if you were buying or selling your home, or you had a friend or a family member who was, am I the agent you would refer them to?" And they had to answer yes to that question. So that's priming your advocates. And then we continued that in the following week. We just did a little bit of a recap on the process, because I wanted to give you a little bit more time to get through those priming conversations. And in fact, I remember getting some great testimonials on that webinar from people who had begun phoning through their advocates. And we had a little super duper mega whopper agent competition. And that was won, I think, by Patty Judd, if I remember correctly, the person who made the most phone calls. And many of you said, I actually picked up referrals just doing those priming phone calls. Then in webinar number 6, we spoke about once you've phoned through your advocates, you want to now reaffirm to them how much you appreciate this commitment that they've made to you of referring their family and friends to you. The first way that you reaffirm that commitment, which was actually part of webinars 4 and 5, was to send a handwritten note. After you've got off the phone and they've said, yes, I would be happy to refer you, you then sent a handwritten note saying, thank you so much for your commitment and for your willingness to refer me. Your referrals are so important. I build my business exclusively by referral, and so I really appreciate your support. But there's a little psychology in that that's just reaffirming to them, you've now committed to me that you're going to refer me, and I really appreciate it. And we then reaffirm that in this little video. And I remember seeing Maureen Palmer's video, for example, springs to mind, of Maureen, you standing in I think it's probably your back garden, just saying, this is a shout out to all my advocates who've committed to referring me, and I want to thank you so much for your commitment. And well done, Maureen, for that video, and for the rest of you who got that done. Okay, so that was webinar number 6. Then webinar number 7, we just looked at how to then close off the strategy of working by referral. Once you have built, sought, captured, and then primed your list of 100 advocates, you're now at the point where you can enter that 12-week communication cycle. And that's what we looked at in webinar 7. What does your communication plan look like with your 100 advocates? And we built into that a few kind of going virtual techniques with videos or voice notes or video notes, etc. So if you're looking to kind of remind yourself what the 12-week communication cycle with your advocates looks like, with all the different touch types built into it, and how to ask for referrals in an effective way, webinar number 7 is a good one to go and watch again. Then in webinar 8, we changed gears. We began looking at some of the other aspects of going virtual, maybe more technically, how to go virtual as an estate agent, but I made the point to you that those first 6 webinars were incredibly important because so much of what we were going to do, setting up a video routine, the bulk emails, how to use value items and send them out via video and email and all of that, so much of that depended on having a group of people to send your stuff to drive traffic, who would drive traffic to all of your online assets. And so, and I hope that point has become clearer and clearer as we've gone through the program. Why did I start with so much effort getting you to organize your database? Because the database is the foundation of everything. And so in webinar number 8, we then began looking at setting up a regular video routine. And I challenged you to just set a goal for yourself, whether it was going to be 1 video a month or 3 videos a week. I challenged you to plan out your video routine. What are you going to do once a month? What are you going to do every 2 weeks? What video are you going to do every week? And I gave you a whole bunch of ideas of how you could set up a regular video routine. And I know that some of you guys have actually done that and you've stuck to your commitment, and I want to say a huge well done to all of you. And for those of you who are looking to kind of catch up and you feel like, man, I haven't really done this stuff and I'm feeling so bad and I haven't done my homework, and I don't want you to feel that way. I want you feeling like, okay, there's some good stuff that I can now go back and review, and maybe this is one of the things that you are really committed to getting right in the new year. So why don't you go and watch webinar 8? Go and do that as one of the webinars you want to review, because I think that's a good goal, having a regular video routine into the new year. Then webinar 9, we began our discussions about bulk email. And obviously all along I've been using MailChimp as the program that I've been showing you how to do the various things. But if you're using Constant Contact or HubSpot or whatever it is, H1 if you're with Harcourts, or Alchemy if you're with Pam Golding, whatever it is, you need to look at the bulk email service provider that you've got access to and see whether it can do these things. And again, I do want to encourage you, if whatever it is that you're using to send bulk emails does not have the full functionality of a MailChimp, for example, I would recommend that you do subscribe to MailChimp or another bulk email service. MailChimp just makes sense because that's the one I'm using to demonstrate. Okay, so we began looking at bulk email and how you go about sending a bulk email in MailChimp. And then we used that knowledge in webinar 10 to combine the sending of value items and bulk email. And that's a really powerful concept, because I showed you how to take one of the PDF value items from the school that I've given you. We used the sad tale of an overpriced turkey. I showed you how to create a little video explaining the value item, how to combine that with attaching the PDF using MailChimp, and I showed you how to do that in MailChimp, and then just a very short little email with a GIF. Remember, a GIF is a little moving image, and I'm just getting the play button, the YouTube play button, to flash on the little image, and then you link that to your video. And I think that is just such a powerful idea, and it's something that you're going to want to do every 6 weeks with your advocates. It's part of that 12-week cycle. You send a value item twice in the 12 weeks, personal in nature and professional in nature. So the overpriced turkey is professional in nature, and then 6 weeks later you send a personal one. And I'm going to recommend again that you combine it with posting a hard copy to them and then sending that email with the video link and the PDF link in it. Okay, that's what we covered in webinar number 10. Then webinar number 11, 12, and 13, we then began looking at drip campaigns. A drip campaign obviously is a series of emails that get triggered when someone gets added to a certain group on your list. I showed you how to do that using tags in MailChimp. So when someone gets tagged as a new buyer or a new seller or as an allied service provider or whatever, the idea of this is you've created separate drip campaigns for each of those separate groups of people. And I recommended that you do 8 emails in 8 weeks. And we covered some of the research behind why 8 in 8 weeks, because that's how you get people to critical mass, where they think of you when they hear the word real estate. So webinar 11 was just first steps towards creating a drip campaign. Webinar number 12, how you then set up a drip campaign. So in webinar 11, I showed you how to add a tag and how to set up the drip campaign to trigger when someone gets tagged, and then how you actually begin creating the emails, the 8 emails in webinar number 12. And then webinar 13, I actually launched the drip campaign that I created for you guys. Many of you are busy receiving that. I think we're into the 4th week of that drip campaign at the moment. And I've actually got a whole bunch of emails from a number of you guys saying, wow, I loved Peter Stathakis's email, or I loved Patty's, or whatever it was. And in that webinar 13, I showed you how to create a landing page on MailChimp. In this case, it was for buyers, that where people put their email address in to get like a free guide, they then get added and they get tagged, and it triggered that drip campaign. So how to use a landing page. Okay, so that's a little overview of where we've been. And I hope that as I've been talking through that curriculum, you have thought to yourself, okay, I want to go and rewatch that one or that one or that one. Or maybe you're sitting there thinking, I need to actually go through all of those again. And I'm not sure if you'll get through all of them in the Christmas season, but maybe you could. Maybe you're going to set up a little routine for yourself as things get quiet and go through the whole process again. But for those of you who do complete your 12 months of payments, just remember, you're going to have access to this for life, or until I go bankrupt. But if I go bankrupt, what I'll do is I'll make these downloadable for you, so you can go and download all of these videos and save them on an external hard drive or something, so that you've got them. So even if I go bankrupt, you will still be all good. You'll have access to all of these things. Okay, how-to videos. I'm not going to read all of them, but I would encourage you to go and I've hopefully labeled them well, so that as you read through each one of them, how to get free music for your videos, how to get the best audio quality from your webcam, etc. Maybe go and read through all of those and just see if any of them catch your eye and go and watch them. Okay, guys, so I hope that's helpful. I want to encourage you, use this time over the next 4, 5, 6 weeks to go and recap, go and get back in the process of things. And then obviously don't forget the stuff that I was talking to you about earlier in the video about using Christmas as a wonderful time to send handwritten notes to all your advocates and to do drop-bys, face-to-face visits, if it's appropriate with Corona, with a little gift with a handwritten note attached to it, but actually go and deliver it and have like 5 minutes conversation with maybe the top 10 of your advocates. Okay, guys, so God bless you. Have a wonderful Christmas. I trust it is a really blessed time for you and your families. And I will catch up with you again on Tuesday, the 19th of January, which is when we pick up our next live webinar. So bless you, and I'll see you in the new year.